Two people taken to the hospital after another overnight shooting in Walmart. Fourth suspect arrested in Jackson County shooting. U.S. Army to purchase thousands of counter UAV interceptors. Godzilla supersized McDonald's Big Macs. Water shortages. And let's not forget, Target stores sending people to the hospital at the start of the buy now, pay later Ponzi scheme happening right now. Welcome to Squirrel Tribe. If it's your first time here, thanks for joining us. If you're a returning squirrel, thank you for coming back. I love you all immensely. Let's jump into this. So we're going to pick up basically from a live stream Kevin and I attempted to do the other night, but YouTube shut us down. It did not want us talking about these things. So who knows what's going to happen with this, but we're going to try. They don't like it when you talk truth. You guys know it. I know it. It is what it is. We're just going to keep doing it anyway. So first up, Walmart shootings keep happening more and more often to kick off the new year. We're literally 4 days in and there's been numerous shootings at Walmart so far. Did anyone happen to buy a bulletproof vest for Christmas or get one gifted to them by any chance? Raise of hands if yes. No? That's unfortunate. Okay, so this one is sourced from WBRZ News 2. Two people taken to hospital after overnight shooting at Gonzales Walmart, which I believe is in Louisiana. Two people were treated for gunshot wounds after a shooting in a Walmart parking lot Monday night. According to the Gonzales Police Department, officers responded to the Walmart on Airline Highway in Gonzales at around 10:30 p.m. on Monday. The GPD reported there were two people with gunshot wounds who were taken to the hospital and released. So at least they were released. It wasn't like life-threatening, limb amputating and none of that kind of stuff. So that's a plus. There was no further information on what led to the shooting. I'm sure somebody took somebody's parking space or somebody flipped somebody off or somebody looked at somebody the wrong way. Maybe somebody was the wrong, dressed the wrong way, dressed as a woman, but clearly had a beard. Who knows what transpired there or what caused it? I'll keep an eye out, and if I get an update, I will let you guys know. Next up, fourth suspect arrested in Jackson County shooting, which we thought was Walmart related, but it may have been an actual separate incident. So according to this, Van Cleve, MISS, that's, y'all, I don't know if that's Missouri or Mississippi. I'm having a moment. Like I read it and now I don't remember. Van Cleve, MISS. My brain wants to say Mississippi, but I'm pretty sure that's Missouri. Okay, we're just going to keep going. If y'all know, tell me, because I did not put it in my notes what the actual state is. So that's where I effed myself a little bit. No, on Monday, Jackson County Sheriff's deputies arrested Tanisha Chasen, 43, at a home in Van Cleve for her connection to a shooting in November of last year. The Jackson County Sheriff's Office said Chasen is charged with accessory after the fact. She's being held on a $150,000 bond. The charges are relating to a shooting that took place in Latimer, where two teenagers are suspected of shooting into an occupied vehicle. One of the teens, 16-year-old Elijah Zimber, was out on bond for a separate drive-by shooting at the time. Matt Fletcher, who was 18, is also charged with shooting into a motor vehicle. Another woman, Jacqueline Sisti, who was also arrested, is facing accessory charges. The Jackson County Sheriff's Office said charges are also pending for the owner of the home where Chasen was arrested. There has been no arrest yet of the owner of the house where investigators found her on Monday night. Listen, let me just put it out there. Teenagers are stupid these days, plain and simple. This generation, I think Generation Alpha is what most of these teenagers are. They're a bunch of flipping morons running around thinking that it's okay to have a gun at 15 and shoot into random vehicles because somebody pissed you off, slept with your girl, slept with your boy, slept with your mom, your uncle, your auntie, your grandma, who knows? But either way, these kids thinking that a gun is the way to solve a problem as opposed to using words or the good old fashioned way, just beat somebody up. It's not that difficult. Quit shooting at people, because those are the reasons why we're going to end up with our 2A or Second Amendments being thrown in the garbage. Is not because of law-abiding citizens like you and I who have guns for actual protection. It's because of nitwits who are running around with guns with no clue how to use them, no clue what to do to actually resolve a situation. And instead they decide that pulling a trigger is the best way to go. Bunch of idiots, plain and simple. Now, moving on to global conflicts, because there's so much stuff happening in the world today. U.S. Army to purchase thousands of counter UAV interceptors from Raytheon. So according to the Army description, Coyote is an air-breathing, radar-guided missile powered by synthetic aviation fuel, and the U.S. Army plans to acquire thousands of small unmanned air vehicles, UAVs, designed to intercept and destroy enemy drones. In a solicitation released on December 18th, the Army revealed its intent to award a sole source purchase contract to Raytheon Raytheon for the Coyote UAV interceptor, covering 6,700 of the tube-launched expendable aircraft. Additionally, according to Flight Global, defense producers in the U.S. have been rushing to develop and deploy counter-drone systems as interest in the technology surges at the good old Pentagon, and added how the Coyote is an answer to the problem of protecting battlefield troops and installations from the threat of lethal UAVs, while also noting how the Raytheon Coyote is an expendable system, but the Roadrunner is capable of landing vertically for refueling and reuse, and if the interceptor's explosive warhead is not activated during a mission. Sounds plain and simple terms, right? The Roadrunner, produced by U.S. defense startup Anduril Industries, revealed back in November that competitor to the Coyote, playfully dubbed the Roadrunner, which the California manufacturer says will have a price point in the low six figures. So at least we're keeping it in-house, I guess, on these defense weapons, if you will. But out of California, is it really in-house since you have a bunch of men from China currently crossing into California from the open border over there, not the southern one, but the water side. So anyway, not what we're talking about. Let's move on to another danger we face. Big Macs. Yes, Big Macs costing $15 thanks to minimum wage hikes, or at least that's according to analysts and the New York Post. So the decision by states in half of the country to hike their minimum wage could send the price of a fast food staple like a McDonald's Big Mac soaring to $15 in those states, according to an economic analyst. Brandon Arnold, who is the executive vice president of the fiscally conservative think tank, the National Taxpayers Union, pointed to California's decision to mandate that employees at fast food restaurants be paid at least $20 an hour as a troubling sign. Companies are either going to have to raise prices, start to reduce those labor costs, or a combination of both, Arnold told Fox News on Monday. And that's not fair to those employees that are getting laid off, nor is it fair to the customers that are all of a sudden paying $12, $15 for a Big Mac. Last July, a McDonald's location in Connecticut was criticized for charging $18 for a Big Mac combo meal. It's a burger, some fries, and a probably flat soda. Anyway, the most expensive Big Mac in the U.S. could be found in Massachusetts, where the burger costs $7.09 right now, according to the financial data site Zippia. The cheapest Big Macs in the country go for $4.19 each in North Carolina and Wyoming. The average price of a Big Mac in the U.S. is $5.17, according to Zippia. Now, California, their $20 an hour minimum wage for fast food workers goes into effect in April. So until April, people can keep their job and food prices at these places are going to stay steady. But then once April comes, please understand you're going to have a lack of labor and a really expensive meal. There's no way around that, I'm sure. McDonald's and Chipotle both announced that they would be hiking the prices of menu items at the Golden State locations beginning this year. As employers start to see these labor costs increase, they may not lay people off immediately, Arnold told Fox News in comments first cited by Mediate. But when times get tough, they're gonna have to make changes. The Post has sought comments from McDonald's. Didn't get them. Last week, Pizza Hut said it would lay off more than 1,200 delivery drivers in California ahead of the new state law that's kicking in. Arnold predicted a 10, 12, even 15% reduction in the number of jobs available in the fast food industry. Arnold said that fast food workers would much rather be working for $8, $9, $10 an hour than to be on the unemployment line. Last January, McDonald's head of U.S. operations warned that California's minimum wage hike for fast food workers will make it all but impossible to run small business restaurants. Yeah, McDonald's isn't a small business restaurant. I think, I hear what they're trying to say, but McDonald's, look in the mirror. You're not a small business restaurant. California keeps looking for ways to raise prices, drive away more businesses, and destroy growth through bad policy and bad politics. This is according to Joe Erlinger, the president of McDonald's USA, who wrote that in an open letter. Lawmakers in 25 states and Washington, D.C. passed legislation which raised the minimum wage. In 22 of those states, the laws went into effect on Monday. January 1st, 2024, those laws have taken place. And in 22 of those states, the minimum wage has already, for fast food workers, has already been hiked up to $20. Now, minimum wage hikes in Nevada and some parts of Oregon will not go into effect until July 1st, while Florida's new minimum wage increase will be applied on September 30th. The minimum wage in New York City, Long Island, and Westchester County ticked $1 higher on Monday, from $15 up to $16. In the remainder of New York State, the minimum wage is $15, which is up from $14.20. Here's the problem with this. You have to think, and I've talked about it on here before. If you're new, you haven't heard this, so let's have this conversation now. But there are going to be so very few jobs for high schoolers that it's going to be ridiculous. It used to be that when you were in high school and you hit 16 and you wanted to be able to get a car, you got a job at some place like Blockbuster, me, or at a fast food place like a McDonald's, Taco Bell, Wendy's, Burger King, any of those kind of places, because they could hire then. They didn't need that many hours, the kids, right after school for a few hours, and it worked out fine. And they were making just enough money to be able to get a car, maybe a car note or car insurance, or for gas, depending on what their parents were helping them with or not. And it gave them still time to do school and schoolwork and sometimes sports and things like that. Now, you barely have any jobs for kids in high school. And there's people out there that are going, well, kids in high school shouldn't work. It depends on the kid. Sometimes it's necessary. Sometimes the family needs the help, unfortunately, of the teenager to help pay the bills, especially with today's inflation and high cost of literally just living, absolutely everything. And then sometimes kids want that independence. They want that freedom. They want to be able to get out into the workforce early and start making their own money so that once they're out of high school, they can hit the ground running with whatever it is they want to do, whether it's college or an actual career or something. But you see less and less opportunities for these kids now. And the higher a minimum wage goes at these places, the less opportunities they're going to have. There are not going to be very many employers who are going to want to pay a 16-year-old $20 an hour when they could get somebody who's been doing this for longer, 30 years old, 40 years old, and pay them the same amount. They're probably going to pick that person. They're going to look at it and go, well, they're more reliable. They have experience, whatever. If I have to pay this much money, I'd rather pay it for, somebody that's older. You already have grocery stores have taken away baggers. I mean, they still have them at Publix, but Walmart got rid of cashiers. They don't have anybody that does that. Kroger and like Albertsons and Fred Meyer and places like that, they don't have baggers anymore that I know of. It's either bag your own stuff or hope that the cashier, if there's a cashier there, does it for you. They don't have the same guys who used to take your stuff out to your car for you at these grocery stores either. It's going to be, in my personal opinion, because that's what y'all get, fact and opinion all smushed in together. The problem here is that every time you see that they want to pay higher minimum wage, we think, that's great. People need to be making more money because the cost of living is going so high. But it's like this cycle that never stops. You raise the minimum wage, then you have to raise the cost of everything to cover this new minimum wage. So you raise the minimum wage so people can afford to live. So then you have to raise the cost of everything to afford that new minimum wage. And it's constantly ticking up, and nobody's getting ahead. Nobody's able to win with this. And I don't know what the solution is. All I know is that $20 an hour to flip burgers is going to screw a lot of people out of a starter job, and it's going to keep a lot of people from being able to eat that convenience food that used to be the cheapest option for people who were on a budget, because now you're going to have a $15 frickin' Big Mac because you're paying $20 to flip those beef patties. So that's just my thought on that one. Now, Kevin originally thought McDonald's was making colossal size, humongous burgers, but not quite. The Street reports McDonald's unleashes a monster, and their anti-calorie deficit menu adds 3 giant Godzilla burgers. Literally Godzilla burgers. They said the fast food leader has 3 new sandwiches designed to feed the king of the monsters and hungry customers, because there's a new Godzilla movie coming up, and McDonald's likes to do these gimmicky things to get the teenagers and the young people in the door. They had the Ice Spice meal. They had like a Meg the Stallion meal. They've done, I think they had a Bad Bunny. I think that's how you say his name. Not Bad Bunnies, Bad Bunny. No? Okay. So they do all these gimmicky meals so that you'll go in there and spend the money and whatever else just because some celebrity or some rapper or some artist happens to have their name on the little freaking Happy Meal box that it comes in. You know what I mean? So now these Godzilla burgers, it's again a gimmick because of the new Godzilla movie that's coming out. Anyway, next up, U.S. water utilities targeted by foreign hackers, and Fox News reports prompting calls for cybersecurity overhaul after a Pennsylvania water authority became a victim of an international cyber attack. The Aliquippa, we talked about this previously, the Aliquippa Water Authority in western Pennsylvania became a victim of an international cyber attack along with other U.S. water utilities. The attack prompted concerns from U.S. security officials about the vulnerability of water utilities to cyber attacks. Despite the growing threats, many water utilities, especially smaller ones, lack the necessary funds and expertise for effective cybersecurity measures. And I can guarantee you're going to see more and more changes coming to however you get your water, how you're charged for your water, things like that, because they're going to have to say, well, we have to beef up security at these water plants, so your water bill is going to go up a little bit, or we have to ration the water in case there's a cyber attack and water can't get out, or who knows what they're going to do. All I know is I don't trust what they're going to do. That's, optimistically cynical over here, but maybe more cynical optimist. I don't know which way I am, but we're going to go with one of those two. Now, more alerts and warnings about attacks on critical infrastructure. WKYT News. Water shortage leads to state of emergency for Kentucky town. People are being encouraged, people are being encouraged to cut back on their usage as the city's main sources of raw water continue to dwindle. It's weird how they say raw water. Anyway, a state of emergency means the city can access resources faster in the event of a water main break or other problems. Mayor Dalton Miller says people are being encouraged to conserve as much water as they can, but this is not a water shortage emergency, at least not yet. Miller says the city's lakes are much lower than they need to be. He says problems began surfacing a few months ago because they have not received adequate rainfall. He says people need to watch how much water they are using now, so more drastic measures don't have to be taken later. The easiest thing to do is not let the water run while you brush your teeth. You can waste up to 5 gallons of water just brushing your teeth by allowing the water to run. Use a dishwasher if you have a dishwasher at home, says Miller. Has nothing to do with your teeth. They're just two totally different things, but it sounded weird put together like that. Anyway, Miller says he hopes the city will receive more rainfall in the coming months. If a water shortage emergency is issued, people and businesses could be required to ration water. Miller says the city has had water shortage issues before and people have responded well. Ryan Owens with Stanford Waterworks says the city cannot access water from nearby Cedar Creek Lake in Crab Orchard because it is a bass trophy lake, and federal and Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife stipulations prevent a water access permit from being awarded there. Owens did say the city does have an avenue to buy water from Danville, but says because of differences in pressure, there would have to be a catastrophic shortage situation before those lines could be tapped. Now, going ahead and declaring a state of emergency for it does, again, give them the ability to get to the water when they need to get to it, but it also gives the residents, in my opinion, kind of a sense of unease that you don't want to have a state of emergency issued if you don't think you're ever going to have to use it. And the fact that they've issued it means that they think they're going to have to use it and they think that there's going to be water issues. So hopefully the residents there are doing what they need to do to keep themselves in the flow of things. Not punny. With maybe getting a purifier, maybe having, stocking up on bottled water or purifying water and saving it themselves. However they want to do it, hopefully the citizens there are taking care of themselves. Now, for folks in California, get ready to bend over and grab those ankles because the start of the new year, SF Gate, I don't know how to say this, because to start the new year off, SFGATE, SF Gate, like San Francisco Gate, I guess, shared. Californians' bills are going up again after recent PG&E announcement. So PG&E is ringing in the new year with a spike in energy bill costs, the company announced. It's going through the country. Like they find a reason and a way to raise your bills and they're going to do it. So starting on Monday, which was the first, because this is a couple days old, most households' gas and electric bills will increase about 13%. Or $34.50, according to a PG&E press release from Friday. The increase comes as the company's general rate case from November goes into effect in the new year. Let me just go ahead and say, there are so many people out there who that $34.50 will put them in the red. They would have to give something up in order to be able to afford the new rate increase because a lot of people are literally living down to their last penny right now, given the cost of everything continuously going up. If it was just one thing, if only your electric bill is going up, maybe people could slide by. But then your insurance is going up. The cost of food is going up. The cost of gas is now going up. Everything rising at the same time is hurting so many Americans. It's absolutely ridiculous. And of course, our government isn't stepping in to help us. They're too busy passing out money and plane tickets and bus rides and cell phones to illegal immigrants who are crossing the southern border. Screw the, citizens of the United States. But it says here that most of the costs related to the increase come from effects to reduce the risks of events such as gas leaks and wildfires, according to the company. These include undergrounding 1,230 miles of power lines in wildfire-prone areas and installing new technology to detect gas leaks. I'm actually all for the lines going underground. If in Lahaina and Maui, they had those power lines underground, in theory, that wildfire could not have started. That's what, because they're saying it started from a downed power line. There's a whole lot there I don't trust or believe, but having them buried underground would help keep power running as opposed to lines being toppled and people losing power anytime a severe storm comes through or something like that. But then, of course, my brain goes, well, what about when there's an earthquake? You can still gonna lose power that way too. And there's been so many small earthquakes here, big earthquakes there. New York had an earthquake. Japan had a massive one a couple days ago. I think it said 21. I said it wrong yesterday. In yesterday's video, I said 50. It was 21 earthquakes in 90 minutes. And I mean, just catastrophic. And then New York having an earthquake. California gets earthquakes all the time. And we've felt them throughout the entire country in numerous spots. So maybe underground is still not the best, but it's definitely better than above ground. So where was I? Sorry, I lost myself. Okay. The investments we plan in 2024 and beyond focus on 3 goals: keeping our energy system safe and reliable for our customers, meeting growing energy demand, and adding even more renewables to our energy mix. This is according to Carla Peterman, PG&E Executive Vice President of Corporate Affairs. At the same time, we aggressively focus on finding new ways to work so that we can keep future bill increases at or below a broader long-term inflation rate of 2 to 4%. That good old 2% inflation rate we keep hearing about. I guess they decided to jump in bed with the Fed and just try to stick to a 2%. Anyway, PG&E first brought a proposal for the rate increase to California's Public Utilities Commission in June of 2021. CPUC approved a 12.8% increase in November, down from PG&E's requested hike of 17.9%. They got balls. Let me just say, that's a ballsy ask. 17.9%. Have you lost your ever-loving mind? The GRC that goes into effect Monday will increase customers' bills by an average of 3.6% over the next 3 years, according to PG&E's press release. This upcoming increase follows a year of higher utility bill costs, including a spike from last February that sent customers' bills shooting up about $79 per month amid colder than usual temperatures. Again, talk about it all the time. They're going to blame the cold weather on everything. It's been a really, really cold winter, but last year was actually the warmest year we've had in like a very, very long time. So why was it colder? Anything to get the money. That's all I'm saying. Now, others financially impacted, albeit negatively at the beginning of the new year. Lyft drivers distraught over missing money from New Year's Eve rides. And according to WBAL-TV, drivers from across the country say they're still waiting for their hard-earned money from what's typically one of the biggest nights of the year for rideshare services. And the frustration goes beyond finances. One Lyft driver said, "I'm a high school teacher and I work Lyft to make ends meet," which I still have a massive problem with the fact that our high school teachers or our teachers in general, our policemen and our firemen make way less than somebody who's going to punt a football or throw a basketball or hit a baseball or skate around on some ice and hit a puck. Don't get me started there. Anyway, the article continues with this young school teacher had driven hundreds of rides for Lyft before, and on New Year's Eve, she flipped on her sign expecting to bring in extra earnings on a busy night, but instead she had to hit the brakes earlier than expected. She said, "Right around 10 o'clock or so, the app seemed to have crashed, and instead of showing my earnings, it showed $0. And because of this tech glitch, she quit driving, seeing as how normally drivers can cash out earnings instantly, but with no sign of money coming in off the ride she was giving, she basically said, F it, you're done. You're done." In a statement, she said, "It was very frightening last night not to be able to see my earnings coming in. And this is not an isolated issue either. Lyft drivers across the country are steering into the same issue." I think there was a pun intended there. Steering? You get it? No? Okay. Now, the woman also said, I would not have been on the road last night past 12 o'clock had it not been New Year's Eve. I was looking forward to and counting on those extra rides and looking forward to helping people get home safely, which is, in my opinion, the best part. Get home safely from parties when they were drinking and shouldn't be on the road driving. But now, she's now calling on the rideshare to explain why her earnings are not showing up, and said that Lyft needs to apologize to its drivers, compensate us for our time that we worked last night, and treat us with respect. According to a Lyft spokesperson, they said, we are aware of an issue impacting some drivers. Our team has been working quickly to resolve it as soon as possible so that the drivers see and receive their correct earnings. Y'all, this is why I screenshot the hell out of everything. I don't trust technology not to take it away. I screenshot everything and then I save everything just to cover my own butt. You got to worry about your own butt because other people aren't going to do it. So just let that be a little lesson to you. Now, as for the school teacher, she said her Lyft account now shows a message from Lyft that reads, and I quote, a temporary issue is impacting your earnings display and the ability to cash out. We're working hard to fix this. Your earnings are safe. All earnings are being tracked and the correct amount will be displayed soon. We apologize for the inconvenience. But do you trust it? But do you though? This is a growing problem we have with such a huge reliance on technology and the increasing threat and risk of cyber attacks. But still, they continue to press on. Now, this is a Finbold share. Machine learning algorithm sets Bitcoin price for January 31st, 2024. And unfortunately, so many people rely on their digital paychecks and gig work and ride share like Lyft because they really have no other options. Now, because according to CNBC, over a quarter of Americans have less than $500 in their checking account. Over a quarter, over 25%. That's scary. And I don't think they're counting, 13-year-olds and 8-year-olds and things like that. So keep that in mind. According to the information they provided from a Dynata banking behavior survey, they found that 27% of Americans have less than $500 in their checking account. Another 11% have a balance between $500 and $999. And only 23% said they have between $1,000 and $5,000. Now, checking accounts are supposed to keep cash easily accessible and are designed to cover short-term expenses like rent and groceries. Financial experts and advisors, which I am not, side note, says it's a common rule of thumb to keep 1 to 2 months worth of expenses in a checking account, but many Americans aren't meeting this benchmark. And they say all these figures are well below the $6,081 that the average American household spends in a month. And only about 1/3 of survey respondents said they had more than $5,000 in their checking account. I would be very, very curious if you were willing to take the time and, just out of curiosity, add up what your monthly expenses are and what state you're in, not even what city. You don't want to have to get that specific, but I'm very curious to see what the difference is in a household expense from state to state. And I know it's going to be so widely varying because some people are renting, some people have a mortgage, some people have a home that's paid off. Some people have kids and some don't. Some people have 2 incomes, some people only have 1. So I know that changes a lot of things too. But I'm very curious what the average family is paying on a monthly basis. I'm going to do my own addition later and I'll put it in the comments for you guys. Now, of course, it's only getting worse because wait, there's more. This is unfortunately the rhythm of the world. Perhaps this is why only 25%, 1/4 or 1/4 of people who rely on BNPL or buy now, pay later loans are being hit with late repayment fees. Granted, these data points have been collected and shared by the Financial Times for users in the UK, but this is a global epidemic of low wages, non-existent savings, and a worldwide wealth transfer, just like Kevin has been talking about all along over on his channel. If you guys have watched that, you know all about the worldwide wealth transfer. It's a huge deal. But if you think this problem doesn't exist or won't make its way over to the US, you're wrong. Think again. I wrote down think again, but I'm just going to put you're wrong because everything has a way of jumping from here to there. And if it affects something over there, somehow it ends up affecting us too. And it's not something we can, turn our back on. I think the only difference is in the UK, they allow people to buy food and groceries using these buy now, pay later loans that are being offered at places like Walmart. Whereas here, that's the one thing they won't let us use it for, groceries, which is effing stupid. So there's that. It is only a matter of time before it expands here in the US and to other stores too. Now, Keep this one on your radar too, because Target, good old Target, I know y'all love Target, is causing harm and pain to shoppers and customers too, but not so much in regard to their personal finances or their gender philosophies. Instead, just moments ago, I read how 8 treated after chemicals sprayed inside restroom at an Azusa Target. 8 people suffered minor injuries after someone sprayed a chemical inside a Target restroom in Azusa on Sunday, December 31st, trying to end the 2023 on a really shitty note, I guess. Firefighters treated 8 people for minor coughing because of possible pepper spray, Los Angeles Fire Captain Brad Salmo said. However, he added that the chemical has not yet been determined. That makes you feel all safe and secure that they haven't determined what it was yet, right? No one was taken to the hospital, so I guess it wasn't anthrax or anything crazy like that. According to Azusa Police Lieutenant Jake Bushy said, firefighters went to the store at 809 North Azusa Avenue about noon. Police were called shortly after noon. No one has been arrested, Bushy said. The store was evacuated and closed. So that's how they ended. I wonder if an employee did it. I wonder if a Target employee was like, listen, it's December 31st. I'm ready to go home. I don't want to be here cleaning up all this stuff, restocking all these clothes, whatever else. Go spray something in the bathroom and panic people. That way they'll close the store early and we can all go home. And the other employees were like, hey man, that's a really good idea. Or some crackhead walked in and is like, hey, I'm just going to go in the bathroom and spray some stuff and cause panic because people are stupid. Anything's possible, which is why you have to always be careful and pay attention to what is going on around you. Little harder to do with your pants around your ankles while you're peeing on a toilet in a restroom stall, but same principle. Just pay attention to what's happening. I'm not going to say carry a mask with you because I'm not about that, but that you do, you boo. But I will say that there is a lot going on and we're only 4 days in. It is the 4th, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, because it's Thursday. There's a lot already going on in the year of 2024. So let's hope that this thing calms itself soon. If not, I'll bring you all the information of what's happening. But either way, I'd like it to calm down a little bit, wouldn't you? Squirrel Tribe, thank you for hanging out with me. There's all kinds of links in the description. I'm shedding over here. There is a Patreon link if you guys want to support the channel. If not, no harm, no foul. I still love you either way. And hope to see you again on the next one. Okay, have a great Thursday. Bye.